It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across the USA, he is Eric Harley and I'm Gary McNamara. We are Red Eye Radio. And thank you for being here. That's true. That's true. We are. And I appreciate the caller last hour because you could hear the frustration in his voice.
Yeah.
You know, the caller, just a frustration. He doesn't believe Republicans are communicating as effectively as they can. Mm-hmm. And his point was they need to tell people, look, what you're being told is a lie.
Yeah.
It's like, I have no problem putting that word in. In fact, we had said that within the segment before, that Republicans should actually use the word lie. But understand that there are people that have no idea what's going on, which is exactly who Kamala Harris's campaign is looking to go after. When you put out an ad saying you're stronger on the border than Trump.
Unless your name is Donald Trump Jr., you need to shut up. Seriously.
Unless you're Alex Jones.
Right. Greg Abbott could give Donald Trump a run for his money.
Unless you're Greg Abbott.
Right? Yeah. We can name some names here, but if you're a Democrat, sit down.
Unless you're Ken Paxton.
Exactly. My gosh.
So understand their number
one.
The
cartels could make a better case than she did.
Oh, my gosh.
We are the cartels, and we approve this message. We're stronger on the border than Donald Trump. That I would believe sooner than I would believe.
But if they said stronger on the border or at the border, they may be strong.
It just depends on what the definition of "on" is.
But when the first ad they came out with, first ad is the fact that she's stronger on illegal immigration, and she said it. Now, it was the last thing she had said. I'll challenge him on anything, including immigration. She did not relate the contents of her ad verbatim,
right,
as when she was on stage in Atlanta, because that would get her booed.
Yeah,
that would get her booed at that particular point. But clearly, she is going after a small sliver of people. And this is a thing you have to realize. We've covered enough elections. Look, we're constantly surprised. We agree. There can't be anybody that's undecided. We think the same thing. But reality tells us, observation of reality tells us, there will be people, they'll be talking to people a day before the election. I don't know. I mean, Harris and Trump.
Standing in line on election day.
I don't know. I don't know what to do here. I mean, I can't figure. You have to understand that a significant portion of people pay no attention to politics, but they vote.
Yeah, right.
And it's the last thing that they might hear that may be the thing that puts them over the top.
Mm-hmm. This is why it has to include the facts. It also has to be blunt. And that's the balance we've been talking about this morning. And that has to be it, but it has to be repeated to no end. And there are a lot of us. Look, it's like back in the day working top 40 in the 80s, top 40 radio. You get sick of Madonna and Michael Jackson, but they were the ones selling all the albums. And doing this, the message for those that are paying attention, those that listen to our show, those that do the same kind of homework that we do, it becomes, at times, I'm sure, it's like, okay, over and over again. But it also becomes frustrating, and that's a good thing. That the caller that we got last hour, it's a good thing when you get frustrated like that because, again, it's an indication that that you're concerned, that you care about what's going on, and that's what it takes to build that political will. We're totally on board with that. That's exactly what we do here, and it also, what you're seeing right now is a desperate move by the left. You hit something early in the show, Gary, and it bears repeating, and that is they really are. You can tell that the Democrats, Kamala's surrogates, and her campaign are building a fortress around her. They're keeping her at a distance, and it's likely if it is to continue through Election Day, which I think it is going to a large extent, except for the few very softball interviews that may happen, the sit-down interviews that may happen. It's because they know she's never going to be prepared. They know she can't do a one-on-one based on conviction, because there is no conviction. If you're lying all the time, these aren't flip-flops. These are lies. She's not changing positions. She's lying.
But she's doing exactly what Jonah Goldberg, the Never Trumper, suggested she do, which is lie in every issue.
Yeah.
Lie in every single major issue.
Yeah.
And so the fact is she's looking for a friendly media that will simply ask her, what do you believe? Well, at one time I believed in banning all fracking, but now I believe people's jobs are important. At the same time, promoting the climate change initiatives. She wants to ride the middle on everything, and that's what she's going to do and get the friendly media to do it. And all of these positions that she holds, and I saw something, well, what's up next? Title IX overhaul pulled back. We're not going to overhaul Title IX, that the sterilization, mutilation of children has to stop, that it isn't about banning books, that it's about age-appropriate materials for minors, that men shouldn't compete against women, that all whites aren't racist. All whites aren't racist, but Republican whites are? I mean, what's the
yeah?
And the fact is, what she's hoping is she can reverse all these positions. She doesn't talk to any unfriendly media, doesn't answer any questions, because the press has gotten used to Democrat presidents not answering any questions.
Right.
So why ask the candidate any questions?
Right.
They know that the media in Washington are not journalists, that they are, the mainstream media, are political activists, and they'll be okay with it. And then it will go out that these are the only approved questions, and they will be compliant, because that's what political activists do. Stop believing they're journalists. They've never been journalists. They're political activists. I mean, these individuals have never been journalists.
Right.
They're political activists, so they will just lie, and that's what's going to happen. The goal is we're going to lie on everything. Kamala's going to lie on everything, pretend she's a moderate. She'll give both sides of it, like, well, no, I'm for fossil fuels. We need oil. We need natural gas. But at the same time, we need the climate change regulation. And so she's going to lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to lie to you across the board, and she's hoping a compliant media will help her. Look how worried they are. The Harris campaign reportedly blocked reporters from speaking to voters at an event on Monday featuring Democratic voters Gretchen Whitmer and Josh Shapiro. The Harris campaign is blocking reporters from talking to voters outside the press pen here at the Whitmer-Shapiro event in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Associated Press reporter Steve People noted on X. Washington Post reporter Maeve Resden said the same thing. I can attest this is true. And remember, she went on the clothes shopping expedition with Harris during the presidential campaign of 2019.
Yeah.
So they're doing everything. They don't want the public. They don't want any person walking in to that arena to know what's really going on. They wish to lie to everybody, including their own constituents. It's a hefty order, but they believe with the compliant media that she can lie about all of her positions, come across as a moderate, not even just a moderate, because her ad on the border is, I'm tougher than Trump in wanting to close down the border.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about taking Biden gaslighting to the 10th power.
Oh, yeah. And it's a clear indication of the desperation by the campaign.
Yeah, they see the polling.
Yep.
The Harris X polling that showed 14 of the issues that Donald Trump believes in have 80% approval or more. 4 of them have 70 to 79% approval. 2 of them over 60%, including mass deportation of illegal immigrants living in the country.
Yep.
Wow. And so they know we have to create someone who doesn't exist. And they know. Look, Jonah Goldberg was blunt. Everybody knows everybody knows it's going to be a lie. Everybody knows she doesn't believe it, but it keeps Trump out of office. That's all that matters.
Right.
And then she can go back, and that betrayal of the voter, telling the voter one thing and going to do another when you become president, is fine with them. They know it's fine with their base. The Democrat base is fine with being lied to.
Mm-hmm.
They've been before.
Right.
We talked about, when it really started with Obama on health care. He wasn't lying to Republicans. He was lying to Democrats about the fact that you could keep your doctor.
Right. There were no Republicans on board.
Right.
So it was about getting the Democrats in line. And so he was lying to the rank and file Democrats to make sure that they had that political will to get it done on Capitol Hill.
Yeah. And normally we would get at this time of the year, well, you guys are just ridiculous saying she's lying about everything. But every Democrat knows that all these positions we just put out that she's reversed, everyone knows, every Democrat knows she's lying.
Right.
And they're okay with it.
Right.
Think about that. Republicans, Trump isn't lying to you where he believes on the issues. Neither is Vance. They're telling you exactly what they believe on the issues. The Democrats have to lie on everything. Why? Because that's how radical their agenda is. That's how much they know that if you truly know what they're going to do, you won't vote for them because you realize their policies are going to hurt you. That's what they believe.
Yep.
But they also believe the people that will vote for them either love the lies because they understand what they're doing, or they're just too ignorant on all the issues and don't understand and vote by personality.
Right. Well,
and every Democrat
American
listening,
voter. Every
Democrat listening right now knows that's the truth.
Yep. When they were putting Obamacare together, remember Gruber?
Yeah.
The stupid American voter.
Yep.
He said it out loud. He was proud in that moment that they had phrased it that way. They believe you're stupid or that you don't care, one way or the other.
866-90-RED-EYE.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by Howes Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
What's the latest on Western wildfire activity?
We continue to see almost 100 active Western wildfires in various stages of containment. The vast majority of the largest and most dangerous fires are focused across parts of California into the Northwest.
USDA meteorologist Brad Rippey says the focus has shifted from Oregon as containment efforts of fire complexes have been effective to date.
California has kind of become the new hotspot with the Park Fire near Chico, California.
At about 373,000 acres burned as of Tuesday, the Park Fire is now 6th all-time in acreage consumed by a wildfire in the Golden State. Going forward,
we do see a very active situation continuing across the western U.S. It's likely to get worse in coming days. We have a number of factors coming into play,
such as extreme heat and thunderstorms producing gusty winds and lightning strikes. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Here is the new Trump ad on illegal immigration against Kamala. Here we go.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
This is America's border czar.
She's dancing.
She's failed us. Under Harris, over 10 million illegally here. 250,000 Americans dead from fentanyl. Brutal migrant crimes. And ISIS now here.
Do you have any plans to visit the border? You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. I mean, I don't understand the point that you're making.
Kamala Harris, failed, weak, dangerously liberal.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, you get right down to the very brutal facts of reality of what every town is dealing with right now, especially when it comes down to fentanyl and what's going on. But every town is a border town. Every city is a border town. And there's no way around that. You can't change that reality. And the ad from Kamala Harris's campaign on the border, she's tougher than Donald Trump on the border. You need to go back to something more serious, like, white dudes for Kamala. Because that just fails immediately, right out of the gate. There's no way to make that case. No way.
Well, it's going to be interesting because that was attacked by the RNC. Actually, is the one that the RNC research. They've got a Facebook page. They're the ones that actually first posted. Where I saw that ad.
Right.
And I've got it here. This is Kamala Harris's ad on the border. This is about being tough on the border. That she's a better choice than Trump. Here it is.
On the border, the choice is simple. Kamala Harris supports increasing the number of Border Patrol agents. Donald Trump blocked a bill to increase the number of Border Patrol agents. Kamala Harris supports investing in new technology to block fentanyl from entering the country. Donald Trump blocked funding for technology to block fentanyl from entering the country. Kamala Harris supports spending more money to stop human traffickers. Donald Trump blocked money to stop human traffickers. Kamala Harris prosecuted transnational gang members and got them sentenced to prison. Trump is trying to avoid being sentenced to prison. There's two choices in this election: the one who will fix our broken immigration system and the one who's trying to stop her.
And then it says Harris for president.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the interesting thing is, it's Kamala headquarters. It's the one of her campaign sites that put that out there, and it's 7-8 to 1 going, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Number one, Trump didn't block anything. Trump had no ability to block anything.
Right.
He didn't cast any vote whatsoever. He might have had his opinion, and people in Republican side might have listened to it, but the reason that he didn't want it is because we all know it, which is why he didn't suffer at all, even when the stories were out. Well, they're all following what Trump wants. Well, no, they're following what they want, which is we don't want to loosen current border law from what it is right now for the promise of more money down the road.
Right.
It was that simple. You would loosen the border the border law, immigration law permanently would be loosened, and that's why. But this shows you what she's trying to do. Now, you would expect from one of her campaign posts that there would be a tremendous amount of support. You didn't see it.
No.
Get our Red Eye Radio app in your app store. Then listen at your convenience. Red Eye Radio.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. All right, Michael Schellenberger here. Did you see on weirdness?
Yeah.
You may have noticed that Democrats have been successfully labeling. I don't think they successfully did it because it's actually gone now. As somebody pointed yesterday, where's all the weirdness? It disappeared. Mm-hmm. You may have noticed that Democrats have been successfully labeling various statements and positions by Republicans in general and Vice Presidential candidate J.D. Vance in particularly as weird. In response, Republicans have pointed out all the things about Democrats that are weird. If both parties agree on anything, it's that being weird is bad. But that's surprising for Democrats because until recently, it seemed like Democrats and liberals were all about celebrating their weirdness, which is really just another word for strange or being a nonconformist. For over a quarter century, the liberal city of Austin has had Keep Austin Weird as its unofficial and then official slogan. And Apple's Think Different advertising campaign remains iconic for celebrating society's nonconforming rebels, all of whom were somewhat weird and some of whom were very weird. Celebrating weirdness has been at the center of liberal pop culture for decades. The liberal TV show Portlandia gently teased but also celebrated the weirdness of Portland. It's been there for years. Mm-hmm. Keep Portland weird. Yeah. That's been there for 25 years. It was there when I was there. Mm-hmm. Hugely popular movies from The Breakfast Club to School of Rock and Booksmart are all about recognizing the importance of strange and weird characters and showing how they really aren't so strange and weird after all. You know what comes to mind? Kramer and George and Newman. I just love this one. A chorus of one of the best songs of the 1990s is Creep by the ultra-liberal band Radiohead. I'm a creep. Here's the lyrics. I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. The hero of most teen dramas isn't the popular kid. It's the weird kid who refuses to conform and even goes on to save the world. Now, it's true most people fantasize more about being cultural rebels than actually being rebels. We love watching movies about nonconformists, but most of us don't want to be nonconformists. The social consequences are simply too high. We might alienate family, friends, and colleagues. But for 7 decades since World War II, the Democrats have been the party most open to the weird and nonconformist, and it's been the Republicans who have been the party of normality and conformity. Conservative culture traditionally doesn't celebrate weirdness. It mostly celebrates order and conformity, from making your bed and going to work to getting married and raising children. The problem for Democrats is that they have lost the ability to distinguish between what's weird and what's harmful. The problem with trans movement is that it's harmful, not simply that it's weird. Giving drugs and performing surgeries to children, adolescents, and vulnerable adults to an effort to change their sex isn't just weird, it's harmful. Enabling addicts and the untreated mentally ill to camp, use drugs, and die on the sidewalks isn't just weird, it's harmful. Worse, when anyone criticizes Democrats for hurting people, whether on trans, homeless, or other issues, they turn around and accuse their critics of being weird for being concerned. Today, Democrats are labeling things weird in the same way that some conservative Republicans have labeled things deviant since the 1950s, but calling something deviant or weird simply points out that it is outside the norm, not why it is wrong. Considering the Democrats' main line of attack on J.D. Vance is for his statements in support of people having children, and yet his policies to financially incentivize parents, we talked about this the other day, and yet his policies to financially incentivize parents to have children are hugely popular, including with Democrats, and thus, by definition, not weird at all. It's exactly what we said the other day.
Yep.
As such, Democrats are making a fundamentally authoritarian attack on Republicans. In calling Republicans weird, Democrats are emphasizing not that they think Republican policies hurt women, children, and the environment, which is the traditional Democratic message, but rather that Republicans are outside the norm. Republicans like Vance are outside the norms. Republicans like Vance, Democrats are saying, hold fringe, deviant, and strange views. And it's proven to be an extremely powerful line of attack, leaving Republicans to protest and that Democrats are even weirder than they are, thereby accepting the Democrats' framing of Republicans as weird and weirdness as bad. I disagree with that. No. So what's going on here? How did the Democrats go from being the party of nonconforming to the party of being the party of conformity, rule following, and enforcing norms in the blink of an eye? And why does that accusation appear to be working when, in many other situations, weirdness sells? That's the question. Well, because I think you're wrong there. I think that's out of desperation that they did that on J.D. Vance.
Yeah,
I think I think Schellenberger's overthinking that at the end. But the rest is great.
Yeah,
because we talked about that. We said, well, wait a minute. Because what happened was I got a message, about Vance saying, well, whose business is it if you have children or not? And I said, well, the government's business.
Yeah, right.
We take property from some and give it to others based on their behavior to have children.
Yep.
And we do that because we feel that having children and raising children and parents having the ability to raise children in an environment where they can get educated and it's easier to do so, you take less money for them or you give money to them, which comes from other people that are single.
Well, and a TV show back in the late 80s, early 90s called Married would have bombed after the first episode. It had to be Married with Children.
Yes, exactly. That might not have been the example you want to give.
Peg and Al, no. It's got to, they have, it's, but it is, and this is where, again, the left, in their desperation, and I agree with you, on the point. I think Schellenberger was overthinking it at the end, but I do love the points that he's making here on it's not just weird, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
These are the things that are dangerous. It's something that we do. It's okay. Why is this something that we're against? Because of the danger that it presents. And it's not anymore slippery slope. Well, if we keep doing this 50 years from now, no. It's happening right now, every day, and their agenda is in full swing. They didn't go from, hey, your daughter needs to allow this man to come into the bathroom, to now, hey, we want your kids to have explicit books in front of them at a very young age. They didn't do that over a 50-year period. That happened in a few short years.
Yep.
It's not a slippery slope. It's a very dangerous agenda.
Well, we talked how quick it went because what was it back 2015 was it?
Yeah,
almost 9 years ago, where the Charlotte Observer said that basically that young girls need to get used to men's genitalia.
Yeah, your daughter needs to get used to male genitalia. That was the brunt of their message in the Charlotte Observer, the editorial board from the Charlotte Observer. And that's exactly where they are. That's how they think. Then they want you to come out. They want to ban books. They want you to believe that the right is for banning books.
Right.
It's about the content of the books. Let's be very clear.
And the age of the people reading.
Yes, exactly. And this is, again, you have to ask yourself, why? Why would they want to fight so hard for this? Because it is their radical agenda. Over and over again. They're not going to put that in a political ad. Not yet, anyway. Wait until after the convention. Wait until after the convention.
Well, but when you look at everything, the reason, to take Schellenberger's article and look at this campaign, the reason that Harris is changing her opinion on all the top issues she believes in wholeheartedly and has as a lifelong Democrat is not because the position that she holds currently is just weird, but it's harmful.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It is, and that's the thing, is you have to point out where it leads to, where it goes to very quickly, and Schellenberger did that. It's harmful, it's dangerous, and it is their agenda. And there's no way to deny it is their agenda. And this I think, presents the biggest problem for the left. We had talked about it before Biden dropped out. The issues were carrying most of the weight on Trump's surge in the polls, if you want to call it a surge. But his movement, positive movement in the polls, was based on the issues: the border, the economy with inflation, national security, which is in part the border, but it's also what's going on in the Middle East, the anti-Semitism that the left proudly promotes now, and so many things that are on the table that are the reality of today. And that's what the left has working against them, as we've been saying all along. It's reality, and you can't change that reality. They want you to believe, look, this is the same group that was telling you there's nothing wrong with Joe Biden. Joe Biden is more energetic and capable than anybody. They wanted you to not believe what your eyes were seeing. Now they want you to believe Kamala Harris is stronger on the border than Donald Trump.
They are following the red-eye advice from years ago.
Go big.
If you're going to lie, go big.
Go big.
Go to the biggest lie possible.
Just create the biggest delusional world you can.
Yeah, and they did.
They did.
The Harris campaign did yesterday.
They did.
With the ad telling Americans she is tougher on the border.
Yeah.
Not just going to be tough, she's been tougher on the border.
She has a stronger record, they want you to believe.
Stronger record being tougher on the border than Donald Trump.
Wow.
Now they have to lie in it because they say he blocked it, which I didn't know Donald Trump was president and had veto power last year. Did you?
I didn't.
Or this
year? Didn't know that. Yeah.
I had no idea.
I wasn't aware of it.
Trump has this tremendous power that
I missed his secret swearing-in ceremony.
My God, he's more powerful than Dick Cheney.
Now, let's not get crazy.
But yeah, I mean, that's where we're going to lie. Look, we're cooked. So let's lie as big as we possibly can. Because a significant portion of the population are idiots. This is what the Democrats think, and we can convince them that we believe 180 degrees the opposite of what we actually believe, and then we can get in power and do what we want.
Right. It's like the baby on YouTube with chocolate all over his face, and he's telling his mom, I didn't eat the cupcake.
Yeah.
You might as well just, deny, lie all you can. It's all you got.
866-90-RED-EYE.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. I'm thinking now. I mean, who is she going to pick for her vice president? I think the one thing that you do is for me, if you can get him to go along, you pick Josh Shapiro because it's Pennsylvania, and you can say we You can sell him as a Jew who disagrees with Netanyahu in Israel, and you can ride that line on Israel with somebody like Shapiro.
Yeah.
You ride the pro-terrorist line by using him as a Jew to justify that your position is correct. That's what I think they will do.
Yeah.
Because the Democrats, that's what they're about right now.
Right.
Everything is about selling you something that they really aren't.
Right, exactly.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.